In the 7th century Arabian desert, a single death set an entire region ablaze. A prophet was gone, and his followers, armed only with faith and momentum, swept outward to challenge two of the mightiest empires on earth. Within decades, they would build a caliphate stretching from Spain to India. Little remembered in the West today, this became one of history's most staggering rises to power. This is the story of Islam's golden age. 632 AD. In the desert city of Medina, the Prophet Muhammad lies dead. His followers, bound by the new faith of Islam, unite Arabia under Abu Bakr, the first caliph. Then, they turn outward, striking at the two superpowers of the age, the Byzantine and the Sassanid Persian empires. Both are exhausted from decades of war against each other, and the Muslim armies exploit that weakness. Ruthlessly, by 651, Byzantine Syria and Egypt have fallen, and the entire Sassanid Empire lies conquered. But in 656, the third caliph, Uthman, is assassinated, sparking Islam's first civil war, the Fitna, the Wars of Apostasy, 632 to 634. With the Prophet gone, one man steps forward to hold the young nation together, Muhammad's oldest and closest friend, Abu Bakr. He becomes the first caliph, the first successor, but he inherits a peninsula on the very edge of collapse. Across Arabia, tribe after tribe declares independence. Some stop paying the tax that binds the state together. Others rally behind rival prophets, impostors, claiming the prophet's power for themselves. This uprising becomes known as the Ridda Wars, the Wars of Apostasy. Abu Bakr refuses to let the nation break apart, and so he unleashes his deadliest weapon, his most brilliant commander, Khalid ibn al-Walid, a general so feared, so unstoppable in battle that he earned a single legendary title, the Sword of God. Khalid moves like lightning, from rebellion to rebellion, crushing each uprising in turn. His greatest test comes at the Battle of Yamama, against the most dangerous false prophet of all, Musaylima. The fighting is savage. So many fall in the walled gardens that day that it is remembered forever as the Garden of Death. But Khalid prevails. Musaylima is defeated, and the rebellion collapses. Within just 2 years, Arabia is whole again, united, stronger than ever before. And now, this newly forged nation turns its eyes beyond the desert, toward the two greatest empires on earth. Umar and the fall of two empires, 634 to 644 AD, Umar ibn al-Khattab inherited that unstoppable machine and wasted no time putting it to use. To the northwest stood the Byzantine Empire, exhausted after decades of brutal war against Persia. To the northeast lay the mighty Sassanid Persian Empire, weakened by child emperors, palace coups, and political chaos. Neither empire realized how dangerous their new neighbor had become. Then came the year 636, a single year that would change the course of history. At the Battle of Yarmouk, Muslim forces defeated a Byzantine army several times larger than their own. Using dust storms, narrow gorges, and disciplined cavalry maneuvers, they turned the battlefield itself into a weapon. With that victory, Byzantine rule over Syria and Palestine came to an end. That very same year, another empire faced disaster. At Al-Qadisiyah, the elite army of Sassanid Persia, including its legendary war elephants, was shattered after days of fierce fighting. The road to Ctesiphon, the Persian capital, now lay open. In the years that followed, city after city surrendered. Damascus accepted negotiated terms. Jerusalem peacefully opened its gates to Umar himself. Alexandria finally fell after a long and difficult siege. Within just a decade, The Caliphate controlled Egypt, the Levant, Mesopotamia, and the heart of the old Persian Empire. But Umar did more than conquer. He built an empire that could endure. He established the Diwan, a formal register that recorded every soldier's service and pay. He founded garrison cities like Kufa and Basra, keeping his armies separate from conquered populations to maintain stability, and he extended conditional tolerance to Jewish, Christian, and Zoroastrian communities, allowing them to worship and govern their own affairs, while paying higher taxes than Muslims. Then, in 644, during the morning prayer in Medina, a Persian slave named Abu Lu'lu'a, driven by resentment over taxation, attacked Umar with a dagger. He died a few days later, but by then, he had expanded the caliphate faster than anyone had imagined and built the administrative foundation that would keep the empire standing for generations to come. The third caliph, Uthman ibn Affan, rules over an empire of unimaginable wealth. Under him, the Quran is gathered into a single standard text, a decision that will unite Islamic scripture for the next 14 centuries. But beneath the gold, whispers spread. His critics accuse him of favoring his own clan, the Umayyads, handing them power and riches. In distant garrison cities, soldiers watch that wealth flow to one family, and resentment festers. In the year 656, it explodes. Rebels from Egypt and Iraq march on Medina. They surround Uthman's house, they break in, and they kill the caliph, the successor to the Prophet himself, as he sits reading the Quran. It is the first time Muslims have murdered their own leader. It is a wound that will never fully heal. Ali ibn Abi Talib, cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet, becomes the fourth caliph. But he inherits no peaceful throne. He inherits a community tearing itself apart. Uthman's blood demands vengeance, and those demanding it will not wait. In December 656, near Basra, Ali faces a coalition that includes Aisha, the Prophet's own widow, seated in a curtained litter atop a great camel. The fighting rages around her, and history remembers it as the Battle of the Camel. Ali wins, but it is a victory soaked in sorrow. Muslim against Muslim. Then comes the greater threat. Muawiyah, the powerful governor of Syria, and Uthman's own kinsman, refuses to recognize Ali until the killers face justice. He raises Uthman's bloodstained shirt as a banner of vengeance. In 657, their armies meet at Siffin. Tens of thousands clash. Neither side can break the other, until Muawiyah's soldiers raise pages of the Quran on their spears, forcing Ali to accept arbitration, and that single decision splits his own supporters. A radical faction turns against him, furious that men would judge what they believed only God could decide. They abandon Ali, and they abandon Muawiyah. They call themselves the Kharijites, those who left, and they declare both leaders unfit to live. In the year 661, in the great mosque of Kufa, as Ali walks to morning prayer, a Kharijiti named Ibn Muljam strikes him down with a poisoned blade. With his death, the age of the four rightly guided caliphs comes to an end. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, three of the four murdered. The dream of one united community is shattered. Power now passes to Muawiyah. And from this moment on, the caliphate will no longer be chosen by the people. It will be inherited, like a crown. 661 to 747 AD, Muawiyah establishes the Umayyad Caliphate and relocates the capital to Damascus, closer to the wealth and infrastructure of the old Byzantine provinces. Under Umayyad rule, The empire reaches its greatest territorial extent ever, from Iberia in the west to the Indus River in the east, simply the largest empire that has yet existed. But another son of Ali, Hussein, refuses to accept the succession of Muawiyah's son Yazid. In 680, he and his small band of followers are surrounded and killed at Karbala, a defining trauma for what becomes Shia Islam, commemorated every year on the day of Ashura. Beneath the surface, deeper resentments simmer. The small Arab elite ruling this vast, multi-ethnic empire treats non-Muslim subjects, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians, later called dhimmis, as a taxed underclass. Even non-Arab converts to Islam, the Mawali, are often treated as second-class citizens, still paying taxes meant only for non-Muslims. Decades of quiet grievance are building towards something explosive. Black banners rise. 747 to 750 AD. Enter the Abbasids, a family descended from Muhammad's uncle, Al-Abbas, arguing this blood connection gives them a stronger claim than the Umayyads ever had. For years, Abbasid agents moved quietly through the empire's eastern frontier, especially Khorasan, recruiting discontented Arabs and Persian converts alike, promising a return to true Islamic justice. In 747, a general named Abu Muslim, likely a Persian convert, raises the black banner of revolt. Khorasan is a tinderbox. Arabs and non-Arabs live side by side, intermarry, and share resentment of distant Umayyad governors. Abu Muslim proves a brilliant commander, winning victory after victory and capturing Kufa in 749. The following year, Abbasid forces meet the last Umayyad Caliph, Marwan II, at the Battle of the Zab River. Marwan's reckless cavalry charge breaks against a disciplined Abbasid spear wall. His army collapses. He's hunted down and killed in Egypt, and the Umayyad family is hunted down and largely exterminated, even their graves desecrated. One survivor, Abd al-Rahman, escapes to Spain and founds a second Umayyad dynasty, the Emirate of Cordoba, which will flourish for centuries. Abu al-Abbas al-Safa becomes the first Abbasid Caliph. In 751, Abbasid forces clash with China's Tang dynasty at the Battle of Talas, a victory marking the outer limit of the Caliphate's eastward expansion, and one that by tradition helps spread Chinese paper-making technology westward. 754 to 775 AD, al-Safa is succeeded by his brother, Al-Mansur, and the Abbasids become a hereditary dynasty of their own. His reign opens with a chilling calculation. He has the popular general Abu Muslim executed, unwilling to let a war hero become a rival. He crushes a major Alid revolt, securing years of stability. In 762, Al-Mansur begins building a new capital on the Tigris River, Madinat as-Salam, the city of peace. History simply calls it Baghdad. Built on a round plan with the palace at its center, it grows within a generation into one of the largest, wealthiest cities on earth, the beating heart of the Islamic world for the next 5 centuries. Harun al-Rashid, Court, Culture and Legend, 786 to 809 AD. Under Al-Mansur's grandson, Harun al-Rashid, the Caliphate reaches its peak. Harun becomes legendary, a central figure in 1001 Nights, remembered as pious, generous, a brilliant horseman and chess player, said to wander Baghdad's streets in disguise to see how his subjects actually lived. His court is remarkably cosmopolitan. Persian holidays are celebrated alongside Islamic ones, and philosophy is debated openly. Al-Khayzuran, once a Yemeni slave girl, rises to become wife of Caliph al-Mahdi and mother of al-Rashid, wielding such influence over policy and justice that contemporaries call her something close to a co-ruler. The Barmakid family serves as viziers across 3 generations, until 803, when al-Rashid abruptly turns on them, imprisoning or executing much of the family in a single dramatic purge. Charlemagne, the most powerful ruler in the West, sends embassies to Baghdad. Harun reciprocates with extraordinary gifts, including a live elephant named Abul Abbas that lives out its years at Charlemagne's court in Aachen. The House of Wisdom and a world of ideas. At Baghdad's heart sits Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, where scholars translate classical Greek, Persian, and Sanskrit texts into Arabic. Works by Aristotle and Galen survive today largely because Abbasid scholars preserved them. Al-Kindi, the philosopher of the Arabs, writes across logic and astronomy. Al-Khwarizmi's mathematical work earns him the title Father of Algebra. The Latinized version of his name gives us the word algorithm. Sitting astride the Silk Road, Baghdad becomes a hub for silk, spices, and ideas moving between Europe and Asia. Cheap, abundant paper, adopted from Chinese techniques, transforms record-keeping and bookmaking, helping medieval Islam become one of the most literate civilizations in world history. In under 200 years, a handful of desert tribes had built an empire stretching from Spain to the edge of China and turned one city into the greatest center of learning on earth. Harun al-Rashid dies in 809, marching east to crush a revolt in Khorasan. And the peaceful succession he so carefully planned is about to collapse into disaster. The Golden Age was real, but its unraveling is about to begin.